I let them seat me at the sad singles table at my brother's wedding. That's how I met the billionaire who thought I was a waitress. When my brother's fiancé refettered asked if I'd mind sitting at table 11-inch with the miscellaneous guests, I knew exactly what that meant. The singles table, the leftovers. The social rejects deemed too awkward to place with normal people who had successfully convinced someone to marry them. Of course not, I smiled, while internally adding this to my list of things I'd definitely remember during future therapy sessions. At the rehearsal dinner, I overheard my future sister-in-law whisper to her maid of honor, "God, I hope Emma doesn't show up in one of her weird vintage outfits tomorrow. She always looks like she's trying too hard." So naturally, I showed up in my weirdest vintage outfit, a 1950s blood-red cocktail dress with a sweetheart neckline that I'd scored at an estate sale for $25. My one rebellion. Tucked behind a column half hidden by a massive floral arrangement populated by my cousin who'd recently divorced, two elderly widows, a teenager with blue hair, who was clearly someone's reluctant +1, and an empty chair. 10 minutes before dinner, a man in a perfectly tailored suit slid into the empty seat, looking slightly disheveled and checking his watch. "I'm so sorry," he said to me specifically. "Can you tell the kitchen I am here now? I don't want to hold up service." He thought I was staff perfect. "Absolutely," I replied, standing. "And what name shall I give them so they know who to properly blame for the delay?" He looked up, startled, then laughed. "And I deserve that, Emma Sullivan, fellow table 11 exile." As dinner progressed, I learned James owned a tech company I'd actually heard of. He'd flown in from Singapore specifically for the wedding because my brother's fiancé Refether's father was a potential investor. He was brilliant, funny, and asked thoughtful questions about my work as a museum curator, without once checking his phone. "Why are you at the singles table?" I finally asked. "Surely they could have seated you somewhere more strategic." "Oh, I requested it," he said casually. "Wedding seating charts are like corporate hierarchies. All the interesting people end up exiled to the edges." By dessert, the blue-haired teenager was showing James Ikshirk stances, the widows were telling dirty jokes, and my divorced cousin had made friends with 3 servers who kept bringing our table extra champagne. Table 11 was by far having the best time in the room. At the end of the night, James handed me his card. "I am in New York next month. Would you show me your favorite weird vintage shops?" 2 years later, my brother's marriage ended in a messy divorce. Meanwhile, I'm writing this from James's lake house wearing another ridiculous vintage dress, planning our own wedding minus, where we've decided to have exclusively table 11s and no conventional seating at all. Sometimes the best things happen when people don't know where to put you.